Alright, hello, good morning, here I am, back in Celina, just temporarily because I'm going to be picking up some parcels here for my bike, and man, we really had some thick fog moving to the area here. Just look at this before I start this video here. Look how thick this fog is out here. This is at Eastview Park, I think this is called, right? Look at the parking lot here, it's just covered in thick, dense fog here. So we are days into the fall season here. I think the first day was what? Monday, I think it was. That's when it started raining too. As soon as fall hit, the rain came. But today it looks like it may be a nice day. So if we look to the east here, you see the sun through the fog here. Huh? Maybe you can't through the camera here. It doesn't show the disk of the sun there. But I could see it with the naked eye. But you won't be able to see it with the camera here. Unfortunately, the camera won't. So even cameras, I don't care how high-tech, they'll always pick up everything. The naked eye is sometimes the best camera ever made, that God made, yeah. So here I am, back in Ohio, just because I have to pick up some parcels. My bike pump died in St. Henry, Ohio. Actually, I was airing up my tires. I had a flat on the front tire. And I patched it and was, I installed it back onto the rim, and then I start airing up my tire. My tire just wouldn't air back up. It's like, man, something's wrong with this thing. And it turned out the pump died. Yeah, it just went kaput. So the pump finally died. I don't know how many years I had that old Topeak Joe Blow air pump, but it died on me. So. So I guess it just wore out. So I wasn't real happy about it, but so anyway, I'm here to pick up some parcels, and then looks like I'm going back to Indiana, but southern Indiana this time, because winter's coming here and I got to prepare myself. With no work. Well, I didn't find no work this year. I really tried too, but I think they want to hire illegals, especially around here, like Cooper Farms. I tried there for the egg farm there in Philadelphia. Like packing eggs into cartons. Something I could have done easy, and they want to hire illegal Mexicans or Guatemalans. Can you imagine American companies? They're so disloyal to their own American people, and they rather hire illegal invaders than American citizens, which is shameful. It's a shameful thing. Yeah, so I'm not real pleased with them. I will never buy any of their products just because they treated me this way, I'm going to boycott all these companies that hire illegals over Americans, So it leaves me not buying, I'm just not to trust in the Lord now. Well, milk will keep longer in the cooler weather, though. So it looks like I'm going to live in a forest down in the Hoosier National Forest. There's a lot of dispersed camping down there. It's a quite extensive forest, too. It goes all the way down nearly to the Ohio River. So a guy I watch his videos on YouTube, and he bicycles the Hoosier a lot. Like the back roads, the gravel roads, the forest roads. And he says the southern part of the Hoosier is probably the best, the most isolated. It's probably the best area for me to go to. But of course, you're always going to have your hillbillies and your weirdos down there too. So just keep I guess just have to just be cautious, I guess. Because there's going to be troubles everywhere. So where am I at today? I am in the book of Genesis. I'm still in the life of Jacob here. Yeah, let's see, Jacob here. Let's see here. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob kind of lived a life like I live, kind of unsettled, I guess, in some ways. But God did promise him the land of Canaan, though. That promise that God gave him. And they did settle in the land of Canaan. The descendants of Abraham, the son of promise, was Isaac. That's the sons of Jacob, which God changed his name to Israel. So it looks like chapter 37 is what I'm going to be picking up here. This is in the book of Beginnings. It says, Then Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. So notice that. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, talking about his father Isaac, in the land of Canaan. So says these are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock of his brethren, with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel, that's talking about Jacob there, as God changed Jacob's name to Israel. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was a son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see rather it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. So what was Jacob exactly at this time here? It says the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. Let me see here. Okay. So here we go. It says, And a certain man found him. Talk about Joseph. Found him, Joseph. And behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence. For I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Wow. They wanted to kill Joseph there for his dreams. His dream really, I guess, really irritated him. know what it's like when you offend somebody. They're ready to pounce on you like that. That's pretty much what happened with Joseph's brother in there. Okay. And they said one to another, says, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. So at least Reuben kind of had a conscience there. Yes, he was offended by Joseph's dreams, but yet he wasn't really up to shedding his own brother's blood there, shedding blood, yeah. So at least had some tinge of a conscience there. That's what I take from this. Okay, verse 23. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. So there's some Ishmaelites coming, and of course we know the Ishmaelites. The Arabs descended from Ishmael, the eldest son of Abraham. He wasn't the son of promise, though. He was kind of the son that they tried to help God out with. You know, God promised Abraham a son, yet Sarah and Abraham, or as he was called then, Abram, was, they were too old to have children. I mean, yet God promised Abraham a son, Abram. So they tried to help God out. Well, Sarai did, as she was called then, Sarai. She tried to help God out by giving the Egyptian handmaid, her slave girl, basically, her servant girl, to Abraham to have a child by her. So that's how Ishmael came into the picture there, and it definitely wasn't God's plan. They were trying to help God out, and that's what caused. To this day, we got the problems between the Jews and the Arabs because of not trusting in God, trying to help God out some, So anyway, that's what happened there. So we got some Ishmaelites coming, and okay, so let me read this again. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked. How about the brothers of Joseph there? And behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it? What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Yeah, God says not to shed blood. By means shall his blood be shed. So Judah's his intentions were good, but yet he kind of said, well, let's not shed his blood, though. But still, his intentions weren't good, Come, here's his advice, Judah's advice. Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him. For he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. So let me see if I got this right here. So here's Joseph in that waterless pit there, and here comes a company of Ishmaelites. And then, before the Ishmaelites, I guess they were with the Ishmaelites, the Midianites were with the Ishmaelites. I guess they intermarried. The Midianites and the Ishmaelites, they probably intermarried there. And there passed by Midianites, this is verse 28, merchantmen. And they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. So they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites, the Midianites did, the merchantmen. And they brought Joseph into Egypt, it says. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold. So apparently, let me see. Reuben wasn't there when this happened, though. So, that's verse 29 here. Yep. Hi. A lot of trash, huh?
Not a lot today.
People didn't make a big mess for you?
Not yet.
You know what I used to have to do? I work for the park system too, but for the state though.
Huh?
I used to work for the park system too, yeah, but for the state.
Oh.
People made big messes there.
Oh, there's some places they make big messes.
Yeah, state parks are terrible.
Yeah.
Like with campgrounds and all that. Terrible pit toilets and shower. Oh, always dirty, nasty.
You have a good one.
You too, yep. Enjoyed the fog. I just rolled in. Yep. So, okay, so what was I saying? It was about Reuben here. So Reuben wasn't around when this took place here, when they delivered up their brother Joseph to the Ishmaelites there. So, okay, verse 29 said, Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. No, now rather it be thy son's coat, or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. Well, that's no secret why, you know. Let's see. And he said, I will go down into the grave. That word grave is talking about Sheol. That's talking about hell, yeah. Back in the Old Testament, hell was divided into Abraham's bosom, which was like the place for the righteous dead. And then it was divided into the place of torments, which the rich man went to in Luke 16 there. So it's talking about hell, about Sheol there. So when Jacob said this, it says, For I will go down into the grave, into Sheol, unto my son mourning. So I remember looking this up on the Blue Letter Bible when I was reading this, when I was still living up at my sister-in-law's place in the Bad Attic. And she had the internet, then I could look all these words up. It says, I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard. So we got the Midianites, so they must intermarried with the Ishmaelites, you know. Because they were in the same area, the Arabian Peninsula, they settled. The Midianites were the sons of Abraham through his wife Keturah. It was after Sarah died, of course. Then Abraham took another wife, it says here, if I could go back to chapter 25 here. It says this, chapter 25, Genesis. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. So this was after Sarah, his wife, died. And she bare him Zimram and Jokshan and Midian. So there's Midian. This is where your Midianites come from Abraham through his wife Keturah. and Ishbak and Shua. So then it goes on here. Verse 4 says, and the sons of Midian were Ephah and Epher and Hanok and Abidah and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah. And it says in verse 5, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac, because Isaac was the son of promise there. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward. It says eastward, there's the key point there, eastward, unto the east country. So Abraham sent them away from Isaac, because they weren't going to inherit those promises that God made with Abraham, but the land of Canaan, and in thy seed shall all the earth be blessed, all nations be blessed. And it's talking about that seed would ultimately be the Messiah there, that would come through Abraham. So we could see what the Midianites came from. They came from Abraham through Keturah. Of course, Midian then also had sons, and of course the people intermarried, no doubt. I gotta get me yep, intermarried. That's just pretty much the history of mankind there. People intermarried, and so the Midianites probably intermarried with the Ishmaelites, which was the son of Abraham through Hagar, the Egyptian handmaid there. That's when they try to help God out a little bit, which made a disaster out of everything. There we go. Okay. Let's see what time we got here. 8:30 here. I guess I can go up to Aldi's here real quick. Get some kefir, I guess. Kefir. I like kefir. Yeah. All right, so that's about it for now, viewers. See the fog there, starting to get still pretty thick, but not as bad as it was. So you can see the fog here. Wow. It wasn't like this when I woke. I mean, it was a little foggy, but it really increased since I came down here. All right, so that's it.